Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer Video Podcast episode. This week, the big news this week is that I finished Mass Effect Andromeda. Woo! And I got that great trophy screenshot for finishing the final mission. Seriously, I don't know why this happens. Games know that there are going to be trophy screenshots taken. Obviously, when you're getting like a trophy for like making 100 headshots or killing someone a specific way, that's going to be whatever you happen to be doing in the game at that moment. Fine. But if it's a story-based screenshot, like you finished a mission or you finished the game, you know full well that that's going to happen when there's a cutscene. So why not take the screenshot just before the cutscene ends? Or just after the fade out when the next cutscene starts? Why would you program the game to take a screenshot of a black screen? And I mean, the majority of screenshots, I find, are just the worst. They're terrible. It's like the back of someone's head, or more often than not, I say like 75% of the time, it's a black screen for the story runs. And I'm just like, why? Why is this happening? You know there's going to be a screenshot at that point in the game when you finish that story mission. Make the game take the screenshot of something. Because I remember back in the day, I used to like that the PS3, you could set it up so it was like automatic, and it would automatically tweet your screenshot when you got a trophy, and it was super awesome. I wouldn't do it to Facebook because that would be annoying, but my Twitter is mostly gaming, so I was like, whatever. And then they changed their mind, and I was like annoyed that I had to tweet my own screenshots every time. But now the screenshots are so bad that I'm like, I don't want to tweet out screenshots of black screens because I finished a mission. Like, if it was a cool looking screenshot, I would tweet it. But they're not, because they're just black screens. But anyway, enough bitching about trophies. I just don't understand why they can't program it that way. The game itself, I don't understand the hate for Mass Effect Andromeda. It got a lot of hate. And I do feel that if I had bought this instead of Horizon Zero Dawn at launch, I probably would have been disappointed. Not that it wasn't worth the $60, but there were apparently a lot of bugs and glitches and graphical errors and such when it first launched. It was extremely buggy, and there were a lot of patches. I'm playing it like a year later when it's like less than $10 on a PSN sale, so I definitely got my $10 worth. I mean, I got $60 worth out of it, no problem. But I also had those patches that made it a little better. So I get why that was hated, but the game itself is fine. It was very enjoyable. It was a fine like Mass Effect sequel, as it turns out. There are still bugs. I mean, like there were just the occasional graphical bug where, like, you know, I'd fast travel somewhere and like Vetra was like floating up in the sky for some reason, and then there was like a story scene with dialogue where like suddenly Jal had like 2 heads, but those are like whatever. There was only one time when, as you recall in a previous episode, I talked at length about this, but I fast traveled to a location on a planet, and all of a sudden found myself like almost underwater. Like, it was, the graphics were all messed up, and like the ground was like above me, but there was still ground below me, and I was like, what am I even looking at? And like it was like crazy pop-in, and I was just like, what's happening? And the whole thing was so glitchy that I was like, no, because I didn't want that to break my game. So I just loaded a previous save before that and then did not fast travel. And then the rest of the game was fine. And I liked the game. It has a great concept. You know, you're the Pathfinder, and you have to like explore these planets and then make them habitable for people to live on, because you're supposed to be colonizing this new galaxy. And I thought that was a great premise for a science fiction game. And you know, all the familiar Mass Effect races are there. Not all of them, some of them. But the story, I thought, was fine. I will say that there are way more side quests in here than in the original Mass Effect trilogy games. It's like a ton of side quests. It's almost to the point of distraction because I get easily distracted by like, oh, let me do that one. Oh, let me do that one. And it would kind of, do you mind? I'm trying to do a podcast here. It would get me so distracted that I would like get away from the main story. And then eventually it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I have to just try to stay on the main story path. So I did like the main side quest, and I did like the loyalty missions, like all of the stuff for like my teammates and stuff. I would do those side quests. That way I could like gain their loyalty and level them up to their highest levels and such. But all the other like miscellaneous fetch quests and stuff, I'm like, whatever. Because I completed one, like something about like collecting flower samples for the, you know, the guy on the Nexus, and I got like nothing. I got like some experience or like 500 credits, and I was like, that was a complete waste of time. Never mind. So I only did like the important side quests. That way I could get to finishing the mission. The only complaint that I would have, other than the way too many side quests, you know, gameplay-wise, is after the initial like tutorial intro level that teaches you like movement and combat and all that stuff. Once you're on the Tempest and it's like, okay, now go explore, it's literally just, okay, and now here's the rest of all the gameplay elements. And you're just like, okay, wait, can you walk me through these? Because this is a lot, it's a little overwhelming. And the game does not walk you through them. There's like research and development, there's strike team multiplayer missions, there's cryo points that you get for, you know, settling the planets and such and making things livable. You can unlock cryopods, and you can choose to do it like, do you want to unlock scientists or military or merchants? And if you unlock the merchants, you'll gain bonuses like more items or discounts at stores. If you unlock the scientists, you'll get like more research points, and like you'll get like minerals and supplies and stuff like that. And the combat stuff, you'll get like extra ammo and stuff or whatever. So I kind of just did that evenly, but you'd get some bonuses. Whereas with the strike team / multiplayer missions, I never did any multiplayer. I was always like, no, just send the strike team. I don't care. And at the end, the strike team would level up if it was successful, and you would get like, it would say that you were getting rewards, like loot boxes and stuff. And I'm just like, where are these rewards? Like, I never saw any rewards showing up in my inventory. Maybe I have to press a button in order to collect them, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of rewards that I never even collected because I didn't push the right button. But the game doesn't tell you about these. Hell, in the research and development part, as you explore and scan like alien creatures, alien technology, etc., you gain research points that you can then spend to research new technology to make yourself better armor and better weapons and such. And I was doing this for a little while. I did it for a little bit, and then when I went to go build something, I had like no supplies because I hadn't been exploring enough to gain enough like minerals and the stuff that you need to make the armor and weapons. So I was like, oh, I'll come back to this later. So after a while, I came back to it once I had enough supplies, and then I was fine. But like, there were other tabs. I was researching the human Milky Way stuff, but there was also like cat stuff, and there was remnant stuff. And like, I was like, wait, I didn't even know those existed. Let me go research some of that, because that might be better, you know? But the game doesn't give you a tutorial of all of these other RPG elements. And unfortunately, I have to admit, they're not necessary. Like I said, the strike team stuff, I could have not done any of that, and it wouldn't have made any difference. The research and development, I feel, did help because I was able to build myself some better armor and better weapons. And that just meant that I never actually checked any of the stores on any of the planets to see if they had weapons or armor that were worth buying. Also, I found it kind of not... The whole, like... anytime you had to buy something, the whole, like, transaction screen, it was just not super intuitive, and I'm just like, this isn't great. I like my RPGs to tell me, like, here is a new weapon. It's way better than your old weapon, as you can see. You should buy this. And that's helpful for me. Because I don't remember things. So, it's very overwhelming, and then unfortunately, in the end, I feel like it didn't really affect my game at all, except for the building of the new weapons and armor. Because I got to the end of the game, and I was like, oh, am I ready to do the end of the game? Because I'm like level, I don't know, like 52 or 3, maybe? and I was just like, should I do it? And I had done most of the big side quests. It was just some fetch stuff, so I was like, I feel like I'm not going to level up that much more, so let's give it a shot. And I did the end game, and spoiler alert, it's not a big boss that you fight. There's no like big final boss enemy that like dies and then comes back to life as an even more powerful version that you then have to kill again, because that's super annoying. It was kind of, on the one hand, it was a little anticlimactic, because I did it and I was like, wait, that was it? And it's over? That's all I had to do? That was easy. So it was a little anticlimactic, but on the other hand, I kind of found it refreshing. It's more of just like a gauntlet of enemies. There's just swarms and swarms of enemies coming at you. But they're the regular enemies, so they're not as bad as like one big giant enemy that's like kicking your ass and has that one hit that can kill you like instantly, which is always super annoying too. So this was like totally doable, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad at all. And then after you finish that, there's a little epilogue with some story stuff and dialogue with your various teammates. And then you go back onto the Tempest. And then because I had made all of the colony worlds 100% viability, I got a special scene there that I think it's only if you do that. And then they're basically like, now here, go explore and finish and do whatever else you want to do. And the thing is I was like, okay, that was it. And there's very clearly like there's a couple of setups that are like so clearly like, here, this is a setup for a sequel. You know, and then there was another one that could be a sequel or could also have been DLC or something, and I'm just like, I don't think we're gonna get a sequel to this. So that's really, it's actually, I'm a little upset because I'm like, you know what, I would totally buy the sequel because I feel like they would have learned from their mistakes and they wouldn't have released a sequel to this if it was as buggy as Andromeda. They would wait until it was polished, and then it would come out. Because I would play a sequel to this, with more worlds to settle and explore. I think that would be super awesome. Because it was a good game. I don't understand the hate. It's quite cheap now, so if you have a PS4, and you haven't played it, and you enjoyed the original Mass Effect trilogy, I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it. And there's still more to do. Although I did not go back and do more stuff. I mean, there is more I could do if I wanted to play it some more, but I'm like, I've been playing this for months and months. Let me move on. Although I ended up not moving on. As you might recall in the previous episode, I mentioned I downloaded Beyond Two Souls because it was free with PlayStation Plus last month. So I downloaded it, but I haven't started it yet. Instead, I decided to just jump back into No Man's Sky, because I haven't played that in a long time. As a matter of fact, when I loaded my save game, it said it was from like October or November of last year. I guess that's when I got Mass Effect Andromeda, and I was like, well... But it turns out I was actually in the middle of a story quest, because at that time they had updated the game and put in more stuff and story quests and stuff. And I was like, well, I was like, okay, I'll finish this off and see what happens. And I went through a portal, and then I was floating in space, and then I was in the Atlas thing, and then I was on this other toxic planet and had to try to survive to get back to my ship, which was all the way over there. So it was kind of a fun little adventure. Then I settled down and I finished it, and then it became, okay, do you want to go to the center of the universe or follow the path of the Atlas? And I'm like, let's do the Atlas path. And I basically was like, now we're just going to jump to a new system and explore some planets, and if I like it, I'll explore it. If I don't, I'll move on to the next one. Who cares? And it was just lovely. You know, just, I'd forgotten how fun it is to just land on a planet and to see these new things and be like, oh, okay. And explore it if you want to. Some of them I was like, oh, you're way too toxic. I'm just going to leave. Thank you. And the photo mode, of course, is lovely, taking beautiful pictures. But it's just, No Man's Sky, I'd forgotten how lovely and relaxing it is. I also wanted to play it because I know that on July 24th they are releasing another update, a free update for No Man's Sky. And I'm not excited about it because it's adding multiplayer. And I'm hoping that you can choose to not activate the multiplayer, because I don't want people wandering into my game by mistake, because I don't want to encounter anybody. Because the whole point of No Man's Sky, like, people complained when it came out. They're like, oh, we thought this was going to be multiplayer and our friends and we can explore the galaxy together. And I'm like, no, 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 no. The whole point of No Man's Sky, for me anyway, was it's a solitary experience. It is literally you in a spaceship on a barren planet with some animals. And in space stations you'll run into the occasional alien creature that you can talk to, but no other humans, it's just you. And I like that solitary experience. I find it very soothing and relaxing, and it's a wonderful gameplay experience. I know there's people out there who are like, oh, me and my friends, we want to like get in our ships and like go on pirate raids and shoot down starships and whatever, and I'm just like, you have fun with that. I'm going to go wander on my own and explore alien planets by myself. Thank you. Bye. So, I don't care about a multiplayer add-on for this. It's not what I wanted from the start, and I wouldn't have cared if they never even gotten to doing that. So I will start Beyond Two Souls probably this week or next. I did also start another new game, but this has gone on a bit long, so I'm going to cut it short, and I will talk about my other new game next week. That's a tease to make sure you come back and find out what it is I'm playing. Although if you're following my Twitter, you probably have already figured it out. So, I'll see you then. Bye!